All right, Shalom. Start this lesson first and foremost. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Rakakadash. Double honors to our elders, apostles, a great millstone, who well and push out 100% truth and true sincerity. And Shalom to the old flex guy across the four winds. Slaki, Lord, one decides to be edifying. And the true name of the Heavenly Father was the word Eli calls God. His true name is Yahweh, which means He is, He exists. Ba-Hashem, Ba-In-Ha, the Shem name. And the true name of the only begotten Son was the word Eli calls Jesus Christ. His true name is Yahushai, which means He saves and delivers, which is what He's going to do for the nation of Israel, starting off with the elect. And you Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, you are the true biblical Israelites that the Bible speaks about. And the message has always been the same: repent, for the Kingdom of Heaven is at hand. Now, this is your brother, Wash Shapar from the GMS Miami camp, coming at you another lesson through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shai. And the title of this lesson is, let the Lord work, man. That's what I have for now. It might change after, but, let the Lord work, man. Let the Lord do His thing. Jake, this is going to be like a testimony as well. Saturday, Jake went out. And, it was a little gathering, one of my coworkers, and, we're on the way back home, and I caught a flat tire. So it was a brother with me, and, me and the brother, we pull over, mind you, I know how to change a flat tire. It's not the first time I've changed flat tires, I'm not the most car savvy individual, or car savvy individual, but when it comes to it, I could do it. I could change my brakes and things like that, oil change. Throughout the Yahweh Shem Yahshua for allowing me to equip those skills. As I'm trying to, take the tire off, it's not working. It's like the tool that I'm using, it won't connect to the lug nuts. So I'm Jake kind of getting frustrated. Because I'm not understanding to why, this tire is not working, the tool is not working. I tried banging it in with a hammer. I tried multiple ways. And, I was really sitting there and I was getting upset because it's like, I know how to change a tire. I've done this before a million times, and why can't I take it off? But, I had the brother with me. And I was like, the brother, I know he seen me getting frustrated as well, and I'm just sitting there, and I'm like, man, like, it's just not making no sense to me. It's not making no sense to me, And the brother said he was going to call one of the other brothers to come help. At first, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, man, nah, you could try to call him, but, he's asleep. I don't want to inconvenience the brother. And also, too, the brother that we were going to call is a mechanic. So the brother was like, yeah, he might have his drill on him. But usually the times when I call the brother, right, when I call him, he be telling me he be leaving his drill at the shop. So in my head, I'm like, man, he probably doesn't even have the drill on him. You know what I'm saying? Jake just frustrated, upset. But long story short, you know what I'm saying? I called the brother, and I didn't call him. The brother called the brother, right? And the brother, when he got to us, shout out to the brother Yara. He basically said, like, he was asleep. Usually when he's asleep, he doesn't hear his phone ring. And he was basically saying, like, he heard his phone bzz, 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 bzz. And he said, mind you, it's 3 o'clock in the morning. He said that he got up. He said he wasn't even tired. And he was able to come. And what was even more crazy, because, I tried to, in my head, the flesh. You're like, man, you don't even have the tool that you need. He had the tool. I told him, through the Spirit. And it's so spiritual, because after I had that conversation with him on the phone, because I personally called him, and I said, I know how to change the tire. He's like, yeah, I know, Ak. And I was like, basically, I was in the spirit of, I was like, hey, The Lord wants you to get your spiritual shekels, and it's spiritual because, one of me and the other brothers was having a conversation about something, and I told him, don't be afraid to ask for help, And what if the Lord wants to use that brother to receive a blessing? What if the Lord wants to bless that brother? Don't be afraid to ask. If you got to ask. So it's kind of like, I'm laughing because the same thing that I prophesied, the same thing I basically was preaching, it happened to me. And the spirit that I'm in is, can't put the Lord in a box. This is one. And also two, Isaiah 55:8, it says, for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, say the Lord. That's right. The Lord's ways is higher than our ways. His thoughts is higher than our thoughts. And it's just, it's your power. Because when you think about it, you go to sleep. The Lord still have instruction in man when you go to sleep. So it was already written for that brother to wake up at that time, to come and help us. It was already written for me to have a flat tire at that time, that brother to be in the vehicle with me, and for me to go through that. It was already written. Just showing you, the Lord's ways is higher than our ways. His thoughts is higher than our thoughts. The brother so happened to have the tool on him, man. There's no such thing as coincidence. The Lord set it up like that. Tawada Yabashim Yashai. The Lord works in mysterious ways, man. Sometimes the puzzle is there. The puzzle is there, but, you may not see all the pieces at that moment. You may not see the picture that the puzzle is trying to show you at that moment. But, Tawada Yabashim Yashai, wa call on Allah Yabashim Yashai. The Lord wanted to bless that brother, man. The Lord might use you and make you go through a situation to bless another individual, man. To let that other individual get some charity in. Because as the scriptures tell you in the book of 1 Peter chapter 4, verse 8, it says, and above all things, have fervent charity amongst yourselves, for charity shall cover the multitude of sins. That's right, charity shall cover the multitude of sins. We all have sins, man. We all have sins that need to be covered. The Lord, the brother, maybe the Lord, and I'm trying to articulate this correctly. Maybe the brother, maybe the Lord wanted some of this brother's sins covered, man. Maybe the brother, the Lord wanted to bless the brother. And shout out to that brother, man. Shout out to the brother Yirah. Tawada Akia, wa Tawada Yabashim Yashai. That brother, the Lord had it to where that brother was able to hear his phone ring. He was able to pick up the call, and mind you, this brother stays quite a distance from where I was at. But the brother still got up and drove his vehicle and came to help, man. Charity, this is what it's all about, man. It's about sacrifice. It's about charity. It's about sacrifice. It's about helping the ministry out, helping a brother out, man. Because at the end of the day, we all we got. And that brother showed a great example to the charity. That brother showed a great example to the sacrifice, man. And may the Lord bless that brother, man. Sometimes, we get put in situations in a pickle and it's uncomfortable. Especially, the time, you're like, man, you know how you be trying to be considerate. I don't want to disturb this brother. This brother might be busy, this, that, and the third. But still give that phone call, man. Still call that brother. Still ask. It doesn't hurt to ask, If he can't do it, he can't do it. But at the same time, if the Lord put it on your spirit to call that brother, maybe the Lord wants that particular individual to get that blessing, man. Maybe the Lord wants to get that individual a spiritual boost. Maybe that individual was going through something and the Lord just wanted him to be with a brother, man. Don't be afraid to communicate. Don't be afraid to call for help when you need help. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. Because I needed help. And Jake just, you want to just handle it yourself. If you know you can handle it yourself, you want to handle it yourself. But fuck that. If you need help, call for help. We all got sins that need to be covered, man. So, if you can help a brother, help a brother. Once again, shout out to that brother because he came to my aid, man, through the spirit and power of Bashim Yashai. And he helped, man. And I'm grateful for that. You know? And things like this have to happen. Things like this have to happen so these scriptures could play out, man. And that's the realest thing that one of the brothers, the brother Kananak, told me. He's like, how else are these scriptures supposed to play out? These things have to happen. This is the book of Matthew, I believe, chapter 25. I'm going to start at verse 38. It says, I'll start for 32. And before him shall be gathered all nations, and he shall separate them one from another, as a shepherd divided the sheep from the goats. And he shall set the sheep on the right, but the goats on the left, and the goats are the wicked. Then shall the king say unto them on his right hand, Come, ye blessed of my Father, inherit the kingdom prepared for you from the foundations of the world. And it says, For I was hungry, and you gave me meat. I was thirsty, and you gave me drink. I was a stranger, and you took me in. Naked, and you clothed me. I was sick, and you visited me. I was in prison, and you came unto me. How else are these things supposed to happen? These things have to play out. Hey, a brother might be hungry. A brother share food with him. A brother might not have money to get food. A brother send him money to get food. Buy him a drink. Hey, you ain't know this brother from a can of paint. You met him through the truth. Hey, he lost his place. He's staying with you. Come on, man. Clothes. You gave a brother clothes. Brother was sick. You came and visited him. You prayed upon him. Because Yahushua is in all of us. So if you're doing it unto your brother, you're doing it as you're doing it unto Yahushua. Hey, some brothers might get thrown in prison. The scriptures already tell you that. You might have to go visit a brother in prison, man. Then shall the righteous answer him, saying, Lord, when saw we thee hungered, and fed thee, or thirsty, and gave thee drink? When saw we thee a stranger, and took thee in, or naked, and clothed thee? Or when saw we thee sick, or in prison, and came unto thee? And the king shall answer and say unto them, Verily I say unto you, inasmuch as ye have done it unto one of the least of my brethren, ye have done it unto me. That's right. So if you do it to your brother, you're doing it unto Yahushua. Because once again, Yahushua is in all of us, man. He's in all of us, man. Don't be afraid to ask for help, Akim. Don't be afraid to help. Speaking to myself first and foremost, man. Don't be afraid to help. Hey, you may not understand it at that moment. Because I didn't understand it. I was frustrated. Because I was like, man, I know how to change the tire. Why the fuck is this tire not coming off? Come to find out the tire, the lug nuts were stripped. So there was nothing wrong with the tool. The lug nuts were stripped. So the only way I would be able to take it off was with a drill. The only way I would be able to take it off was to ask for help. And the Lord had it to where that brother was up and awake. Or that brother was asleep. But he was able to hear his alarm. Or not the alarm, but the phone call. He could have been in a deep sleep. The Lord allowed him to hear it. And he so happened to have the drill, man. The water Yabashim Yashai. I want to close out with this. It's the book of Proverbs chapter 3 verse 5. It says, Trust in the Lord with all thy heart and lean not unto thy own understanding. Example, I was leaning onto my own understanding. I'm like, man, I know how to take this tire off. What the fuck is going on? I could take this tire off. I've done this a million times. I'm leaning onto my own understanding. I'm like, why is it not making sense? Why can't it click for me? Verse 6, in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct thy paths. Hey, call that brother, why? Call that brother, ask for help. Call that brother, say you need help. That's what the Lord wanted me to do, to ask for help. That's exactly what the Lord wanted me to do, is ask that brother for help. And hey, shout out to that brother, man. Once again, all that ways acknowledge him, he shall direct thy paths. That's right. Acknowledge him. Acknowledge the Lord. Lord, I need help. And that form of help was that brother, man. That brother was able to come. He was able to change that tire. And I was able to get home safely. The water Yabashim Yashai. And I'm going to change it. The title of this lesson is Don't Be Afraid to Ask for Help. And I'm speaking to myself first and foremost. Don't be afraid to ask for help, Akim. How else our brother supposed to receive blessing? How else are these scriptures supposed to play out? You know, don't be afraid to ask for help, man. Lord, when this lesson was that fine, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Ba'ashem, Kakadash, double honor to our elders, apostles, great millstone, and rule well, and push out 100% truth and true sincerity, and shalom to all for last care across the 4 winds. Lord, when this lesson be edifying. Until the next time, shalom.